Welcome to our new user training. We're here to talk about how to make math stick with Getmore Math. I'm Jennifer Axtons and I'm one of the trainers, and I'm going to guide you through this process today. First, let's take a look at the teacher app because I'm sure that's on your mind. In our teacher app, you're going to create classes, you're going to add those students quickly, and create work for your students. We even have a checklist that walks you through all of the steps, that even includes videos and articles about how this process works. To create classes, it's pretty quick. You just name a class, choose that subject of the class, and click Next. We have a mixed review starter bundle. Don't worry, I'll talk about mixed review in a moment. Click Done to add those skills to your class. Your class is made. We have a class enrollment link that you share with your students, and they join your class. If you prefer, we have the option for you to add your students manually. When you're creating your assignments, again, we have that checklist that walks you through those steps. But you have the opportunity to choose from all of the topics that Getmore Math has, from state standards, aligned for each state, or unit guides, aligned more like a textbook might look. And as a Getmore Math teacher, you have access to every grade level's content. And if you ever have a question, you'll click on the green chat bubble and you'll start a conversation to ask us a question. So now let's talk about how Getmore Math works. Have you ever taught what you thought was the best lesson ever? Your students were even saying, "We've got this, it's so easy." And they were able to complete the activity that you had for them to do. And maybe they even took a quiz the next day, and you were patting yourself on the back at how great things were going. But then it came time for a test, or you asked those students to recall that information, and you looked out at the classroom with a sea of blank faces. And in fact, those students were saying, and someone even raises their hand and says, "Did you even teach us this?" Then you wonder what happened. Has that ever happened to you? If it sounds familiar, it has to do with this typical day in a classroom. We teach our lessons, and then we have our kids practice over that concept. That's how we learned as teachers, and it's usually how a math classroom works. But let's think about this. If you continue to teach every day and have the kids only practice over what you taught today, when we get to a test, what do you end up doing the day before the test? You look out at that sea of blank faces at those students, right? And then you know you need to spend time reviewing with your students. Why does that happen? Well, in this model, kids forget. And then as teachers, we're stressed and everyone is frustrated, both you and your students. The common struggle that we all face is, how do we make math stick? What can we do so that our students remember? We know they knew it at one point, but how can we get that math to stick? Well, Josh Britton faced a similar problem in his own classroom when he was using this same model. And what he did when he created Getmore Math for his students is he incorporated mixed review in every day. Now, mixed review is cumulative practice. And so he still taught his students, and he still had them practice over what he taught them, but he had them working in spiral review, in cumulative practice every day. Now you think, well, I know spiral review is important, but that's so hard to create for every day for every student. But guess what? Getmore Math does that. The way Getmore Math makes math stick is the mixed review piece, that cumulative practice that is individualized, prioritized for each of your students based on the content that you have covered. Something else Getmore Math does or doesn't do is that we do not reward completion. In fact, I'm going to show you on a student screen in a few moments our point system. You're going to see dollar signs on problems, and when students solve those problems correctly on the first try, they earn a point. So Getmore Math is valuing accuracy. By valuing accuracy, we drive students to true understanding of concepts. That true understanding of concepts, working in conjunction with that cumulative practice, that's how we make math stick. That's how we look out at a sea of faces that say, I understand. Now, in a Getmore Math day, you'll still provide the instruction. We don't feel like we can replace a teacher. You're the best one to teach your kids. What Getmore Math does is support you with assignments, brief focus practice to make sure your students understood those concepts that you taught today, and mixed review, that cumulative practice prioritized for each of your students on all the content that you have covered. You may also use Getmore Math as your guided practice to support your instruction. We make it easy for you. Once you've created an assignment, you can preview that assignment so you can see what that assignment looks like for your students and even practice that if you would like. Also, we have a full screen button, and so when you create those assignments, you can choose to make those skills show in full screen. And when you view it in full screen, you are able to also see what Getmore Math expects the answer to be, as well as toggle through several examples of each skill that you include in an assignment. So in a Getmore Math day, you're going to provide that instruction. Getmore Math provides those assignments and mixed review to make sure your students are retaining all of that information. Now let's look and follow a student throughout a day in Getmore Math. We suggest that you warm up each day, have your bell ringer as mixed review, that cumulative practice where each student's practicing the content that that student needs to practice. Then you teach and provide that instruction for your students along with guided practice using that preview button or that full screen button. And when you're ready for your students to begin working, and after you've provided that guided practice for your students will move into working in independent practice on the assignment. In this assignment, the students are practicing slope. That's what I taught about today. I've called the assignment slope, and it says 0 of 9 at the top. I also see that these students have 3 red squares. The one selected at the moment is the one with the blue outline on it. That's the problem that we see shown below. Students could click to the other dollar sign problems and could view what those problems in those skills look like as well. If we're back to the problem in the middle that was chosen for the student, this student can enter his answer and then smiley faces will fall. I also want you to notice that that student earned a point. Your students have immediate feedback. They know right away if they solved that problem correctly or incorrectly. Smiley faces will fall if they've solved it correctly. And if it was correct on the first try, they'll earn that point. Now this student is going to move to this next problem. It's the one that's showing. The student's going to enter this answer. Oh, but he solved it incorrectly. Remember I said he's going to have immediate feedback. He has a magenta dot. And he has this gray bar that says first try was incorrect. Now in Getmore Math, this student will need to correct this mistake in order to move forward with this skill. He could even log out and log back in, and the mistake's still there. He has a few options. He could check his notes or his arithmetic. He could check with his neighbor, because in Getmore Math, the problems are dynamically generated. So students don't have the same problems as one another, and they won't see their same problems over again. Or he could raise his electronic hand or his hand in the classroom. and then I could help the student with this problem. So the student's going to correct his mistake, and now he has smiley faces. Oh, but I want you to notice, even though he corrected his mistake, and he knows that he did with those smiley faces, he still only has 1 point because that problem wasn't solved correctly on the first try. What Getmore Math has done is give him another problem similar to the one that he missed, so he has another opportunity to earn that point. Now you've done the same thing with your students. You helped a student with a problem, and before you walked away from them, you said, "Hey, do the next one. Show me you understand what we just talked about." Getmore Math is doing the same thing. So the student has corrected his misconception, and in fact on this problem, he's going to need to enter a fraction. So he's going to know, because I've done guided practice, where that fraction button is. He's going to enter his answer, smiley faces fall, and now he has 2 points. He solved 2 problems correctly on the first try. I'd also like for you to notice that he only has $1 right now. He hasn't solved a problem from the square on the left. So Getmore Math is saying this is the problem that you need to solve. It's the one that's worth a point. He's going to solve this problem, smiley faces fall. Now he has 3 points and $signs back on all 3 squares again. He solved one of each type, and now Getmore Math says they're all equally important again. When this student has solved 5 more points, let's jump ahead and see what his screen looks like. He's now 8 of 9 in this slope practice set. He's in fact turned 2 of those red squares yellow. He's indicated initial understanding on those concepts. He's got 1 more problem to solve. He probably thinks he's almost finished for the day. No, he's really not. But he is almost finished with the assignment. He's going to solve that problem, smiley faces fall, and now he has 9 points. He's automatically transitioned to mixed review. Here you'll see lots of squares because this student's been in Getmore Math for quite some time. If you'll notice, some of these squares are red and have $signs. Some do not. Some of the squares are yellow. They have $signs and some do not. Some are green, some are silver stars, and some are gold stars. You've got it. The color of those squares, that's important. The colors of the squares indicate mastery level. Every skill starts off red for your students. And as they demonstrate initial understanding on the very first day, they can change the color of that square from red to yellow. Now to get to green, the third color, a student has to continue to answer problems correctly on the first try over several days' time. To get to silver star, students have to continue to answer problems correctly over the course of a week or 2. And to get to gold star, that's the highest level of mastery. A student has to answer lots and lots of problems correctly on the first try over a longer period of time. Because remember, we're all about making that math stick. So the colors are red, yellow, green, silver star, and gold star. All those skills start at red. Students demonstrate initial understanding. That's your exit ticket for that first day by changing the color of the square from red to yellow. Once your students have changed the colors of the squares to green, silver star, or gold star, your students are indicating proficiency, that long-term retention on those skills. Now, that's how we make math stick. Having those students continue to practice on those skills over time and change the colors of those squares. You want to get them to green. Now, this is that student working in mixed review. You see that in mixed review, there are $signs on some of those problems and not on others. Well, Getmore Math places those $signs so that your students' practice is prioritized. In fact, we place the $sign. We have those students practice the problems that are brand new or they're still learning, we have them frequently practice those problems so that they build mastery on those concepts. For those concepts that they have mastered, those green, silver star, and gold star squares, students are occasionally going to see a dollar sign on those squares as well, so that students maintain that mastery on those squares, on those skills. Now, mixed review for every student is individualized. If you notice that the dollar signs and the colors of the squares for these two students who are in the same class, those are different. Each student has different colors. Those are that individual student's level of mastery. The dollar signs are in different places because each student has a different priority. They need to be working on those skills that they need to practice. Now, you're thinking, well, individualizing for 2 students, I could do that. But Getmore Math individualizes for each and every student. That's the benefit of a program versus you having to do all those things yourself. Now, it's individualized for all students, but you're thinking, oh, but I really don't have time to build that cumulative review, that mixed review practice. I don't want you to worry. Your mixed review is built automatically for you. So let's rewind. I told you that student had been working in Getmore Math for some time. Let's go back to the very first day for this student. The student had an assignment called Day 1. He had 3 skills in that assignment, and he worked on those skills in the assignment. He changed the color of those squares from red to yellow, demonstrating that initial understanding while working there. Now, in mixed review on the very first day, he only has those skills from that assignment. But on the second day, let's say we give a second assignment that has 2 new skills in it. When that student finishes those skills, that assignment, and changes the colors of those squares to yellow and transitions to mixed review automatically, he'll have 5 skills, the 3 from the first assignment and the 3 from the second assignment. All right, you know where I'm going. Here's the third assignment. On the third day, let's say I included 2 skills. They were red in the beginning, but they would demonstrate initial understanding, changing the color of those squares to yellow, and when they finish the assignment would automatically transition to mixed review, where they'll have the 3 skills from the first assignment, the 2 skills from the second assignment, and the 2 skills from the third assignment. So mixed review is built incrementally. You'll see the skills from previous assignments, and students will continue to have squares added throughout the year, and today's skills from today's assignment will also be included in today's mixed review. So our students are working. They're working in class, and we want to make sure that they understand. Well, we're going to use current status to see that as teachers. This formative assessment that Getmore Math has, that we call current status, allows you to view your students and how they're doing in real time. So you're going to know who understands and who doesn't. You can see all of your students, and those who are online will have a green dot beside their name. You can see if a student's raised their electronic hand and asked for help. And I can even click on that to see what they understand, what they're asking for help with. I can also see which students have finished the assignment and which students are already working in mixed review. I can see that David has raised his hand, that he has 2 of 9 completed in that slope assignment. I can see that other students finished that assignment. They've moved to mixed review. I can see who understands and who doesn't by who has points today. Those students who don't have any points or don't have many are those students that I might need to intervene for. Now, every day you're going to want to set a goal for your class. You're going to want to include the points from the assignment, and you're going to want to include points from mixed review. Now, this assignment had 9 points. I'm going to make sure they finish the 9 points from the assignment and earn more points in mixed review, so I'm going to set this goal for the class at 20 points. That means I'm expecting 20 problems solved correctly on the first try. And when I save that goal, it will show for my students. A student who has not met the goal will show this student has 15 points. It says that he has 5 points remaining to meet the goal. A student who has met the daily goal, who's gotten the 20 points I've asked, will have goal completed showing on their screen. And after I set that goal, I'm going to click and switch the class to mixed review. Part of you are saying that they didn't finish that assignment. Oh, but remember, I said that today's skills are in today's mixed review. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch everyone to mixed review so that they're working and earning those points, practicing all of the material that we've covered this year. I'm also going to use time since correct. This is actually my favorite column. It shows me how long it's been since a student has entered a correct answer. If a student's time turns red, that means it's been 6 minutes or longer since they've entered a correct answer. So I'll know they might be stuck on that particular skill and may need my help. Using points today, along with time since correct, I'll understand who needs my help and who's just soaring ahead. I'm also able to take a sneak peek at what any student is working on. If I click on a student's name, I can view the problem that they have in front of them. I can see even what they've entered as their answer. I could send this student a message, maybe some help. If this student's working really hard, perhaps I'll send this student a game credit, a 90-second brain break in Getmore Math. Now, as a teacher, I may want to be able to see what Getmore Math expects as that answer. And if this student's very frustrated, I may even want to replace the problem for the student, and I can do all of those things. Now, in Getmore Math, you also have actionable data. We have that current status in real time so that you know who to intervene for quickly. We also have class data and student data to help you out with that as well. When you're looking at mixed review, you'll be able to see how your students are doing on any skill. In fact, you'll see who hasn't tried a skill, who may still be red or yellow, indicating they're not demonstrating proficiency or long-term retention yet. You'll also be able to see who is demonstrating proficiency, who's practiced this skill enough to change the colors of the squares to green, to silver, or to gold. Your targeted intervention is made easy because we've grouped your students for you. You know who needs help and who's just soaring ahead. You'll also be able to see student data. On individual students, you can see their mastery levels for each square. Remember, red indicates only initial understanding, no mastery yet. Yellow is initial understanding of a concept, where green, silver, and gold are indicating long-term retention. I can look at each individual skill and see how this particular student is doing. I can even see their accuracy, their last 5 accuracy, their number of attempts, just in case I need to fill out any progress monitoring reports for this student. Now in Getmore Math, that brief focused practice on what we call assignments, that new material, your students, that's where they'll change the colors of those squares from red to yellow to indicate that initial understanding. That's an exit ticket for you. Now, in mixed review, don't forget, we're after them changing the colors of those squares to green, to silver star, or to gold star, just in case you've forgotten what I had mentioned earlier. Now, in that student data, we'll also be able to see their student calendar. Students can view their own calendars as well. And from their calendars, students can view the goal that has been set by the teacher That shows in green for each day. In purple, each student sees the number of points they've earned for that day, and in blue, they'll see the number of errors that they have fixed. Students will view that calendar by clicking on the student menu and choosing calendar. So students can view that calendar, and their parents can view that calendar over their shoulders as well. Getmore Math has several features to support you. We have one-on-one coaching as teacher support. You click on that green chat bubble in the teacher app and ask a question. We're here to help you. Those at the other end of that green chat bubble are trainers just like me. We've all been math teachers and we all use Getmore Math every day. So reach out if you have a question. We also have a video library, so you can watch short videos on how to create classes or how to prune your mixed review. We have those tools for guided practice, the full screen button and the preview button. And if you're using Getmore Math as guided practice, don't worry you're not using up the kids' problems because those problems are dynamically generated. You're not solving the problems for the students by doing that guided practice, but you are helping them to understand not only how to do the problems, but how to enter their answers as well. We also have printable worksheets and exams if you have that student who may not have internet at home. I have a few tips for a successful start. The first time you log in as a teacher, make sure it's on a computer. Students can work on any device, but as a teacher, you'll want to not be on your phone. You'll want to experience it from a computer. Make yourself a student account. Make a fake class. Log in a fake student and practice. You'll see lots about how Getmore Math works to work on both sides. Make sure you use our introductory video and an activity that we have on that teacher resources page so that your students understand how Getmore Math works. They understand that the goal is to get them to green over time. You want to use that activity. Use Getmore Math as guided practice and make sure you set a goal every day. That's important. Make sure that goal also includes mixed review points as well as the points from the assignment. And schedule a monthly check-in so that we can help you to make math stick with Getmore Math. If you've got questions, make sure to enter them in the question area, and I'm happy to answer those. Or reach out to us at support@getmoremath.com. And if you haven't signed up for your account, do so at getmoremath.com.